Hold on to your butts.
Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, we can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I ain't had no chill. I'm who I are. I'm who I is. Taylor Swift.
What's up? What's up? What is up? Welcome back to TDG, the dating game. I am one half of the illustrious team, King.
Oh, I'm another half, Sean.
Man, Sean, I need you to wake up, brother.
My bad. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Hey, man, there has been some interesting news going on, and we're going to talk about it. Now, first of all, look, we're talking about marriage and divorce here. And Sean, what is the number one cause of divorce? Marriage.
Good question. There you go. Good question. I got.
So today, or just recently this week, it has been announced that Eva Marcille, I think that's how you say her current last name, but she is a famous model, actress. She's married to a very successful attorney by the name of Mike T. Sterling, and they've been married for less than the honeymoon period, which is about 7 years. Okay, they made it 5 years together. They have 2 children together. Eva came into the relationship with a kid from a previous relationship who's a couple of years older than her 2 youngest, and they're calling it the quit. So why are we talking about it? Okay. Celebrities give us, while their lives are a little bit different than the average person, they live their lives very public. And one of the things that we tend to can find out information about because they're public is we can look at timelines. People that live more private lives, it's hard to really kind of see the start to finish of a relationship. But with celebrities, you can see that start to finish. They share a lot of their lives publicly. And for better or for worse, we can scrutinize that because it's easier to scrutinize when you have the receipts and you can construct a timeline and talk about things. And we're going to do that today. TDG has the documents that were filed in the Fulton County, Georgia court of
Got
what
receipts.
we got the receipts. I haven't seen anybody else on these YouTube streets with the receipts, but we have the full receipts, the 6-page document, and we're going to go through that and show and talk about what Eva is filing for and what her husband has the opportunity to respond to.
Not even TMZ has this yet.
Not even
Late breaking.
TMZ. Late breaking. I checked. I didn't see TMZ with it. We got it, and we're going to display it. But before we do that, let's check and see who all we have live. We got God Happened to Me in the building, said, good evening. Good evening to you. She says, I am here because I'm low-key heartbroken by the title. Did you think that they were going to last? They look like a couple that could last on the outside. Absolutely. Eva's string of relationships were industry people. She was rumored to be dating with a lot of other famous actors and performers. Her oldest kid's baby dad, I hate to say that way. Let me change that. Her oldest kid's father and her actually had a restraining order filed at one point while they were dating. They weren't married or anything as far as the public knows, and from what I could find. And that ended bad. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But God Happened to Me said that she did think that they would make it. And it looked like they could, especially when you hear what I'm going to bring up a little bit later on. Sean, do you have anything to add before we get into it?
Nothing on the topic, but I would like to say I'm trying out some new software. So if my eyes look a little crazy, it's because of the software. It's a fake tracking software, so I can look away and I'm just looking at the camera. So right now I'm looking down at my computer, my eyes looking up.
Yeah. Man, that is insane. I need that in my life because I'll be looking all up and down and stuff all the time. We got Miss K in the building said, good evening. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in to TDG. We're going to get into this. So as you come in, hit the like button. All right. If you're watching this live or on the replay, do us a favor. Hit us up with a like. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Now, who are Eva and Michael? Like I said, Eva came into fame with America's Next Top Model. She's the same age as I am, born in 1984. She's had a slew of success following America's Next Top Model, to include several TV roles, movie roles, music videos, the whole nine. You can say that from America's Next Top Model, she has parlayed that into a life of luxury and wealth, right? And quite deservedly so. And she's an attractive person. I'm going to show a picture here of what she looks like. No, I'm not, because I don't have it ready. But we have some photos a little bit later on to highlight. And it was just announced that as of 2 weeks ago, according to the documents, I want to say it was March the 13th, she filed in Fulton County, Georgia, via her lawyer. And the timing of it is just interesting too when you see what I have to show. So the first thing I'm going to show is from Eva's Instagram page herself from December 27, 2022. All right, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to showcase what she wrote on her Instagram page. So Eva wrote, "Happy birthday to my heart, Mike Sterling. You're the most amazing man, father, husband, friend, confidant, life partner, spades partner, forever partner." Forever. There's that word, forever. All right. Maybe my definition of forever is different than most other people's version of definition. May this be your best year yet. 2022 gave us beautiful, beautiful gifts, and I trust that 2023 will do the same. And she ends it with, "I love you, Michael T. Sterling." And he responded, "Thank you, baby. I love you more." And a lot of people poured and gave the brother happy birthdays. All right. So that's December of 2022. We're talking 3 months ago. All right. What happened between December and now? You don't just wake up and go, "Yeah, I ain't doing this no more." All right. Not like that. Because when you fast forward to his Instagram page, like I said, they're both famous. So they have, and they live very public lives. So you can look at timestamps and see when things were publicly displayed. Mike said, "My forever Valentine." He used the word forever. She used the word forever. "I am so in love with you that there isn't anything else. Happy St. Valentine's Day, the Sterlings." Okay. And God Happened to Me said that, "Oh man, that's super mushy." Right. But both of them were very public with their love for each other. They both used the words forever, forever, my lady. Let me not sing. Y'all ain't here for that. And this was just last month. And if you take a look at some of these comments, let me see if I can zoom in here. So the news broke a couple of days ago, and people are commenting saying, "How is there a divorce filing only a month after this post?" That's what I want to know. Were they trying to keep up appearances and just hope that because of who they are, like that they're not like, the Obamas, they're not superly known and super in the news like the Kardashians are. You can't go a day without hearing the Kardashians in some form or fashion, but they filed most divorce proceedings. Depending on who you are, some people I think leak certain stuff based on what news it can generate. And this was just a month ago. And somebody else even said, "So we all just gathered here, huh?" Meaning that people immediately did the same thing that I did, was look to see what they had publicly. So Sean, you tell me, you're talking about just December, she's giving him birthday praises. Just this last month, he's saying happy birthday to my forever Valentine. Do you think that people say these words and truly mean it?
No, I think a lot of people just say things just to say them. A lot of people say them for social media. A lot of people say them so they can post on social media and make their lives seem happier than they actually are. So a lot of people tend to use social media to put up a front about how happy their life is, but
Mm,
you never see people really posting about how bad their life is or how real their life is.
okay. Now, before we get into the receipts, because like I said, I said I'm going to show the receipts here. There has been a development. Wileen Living said that people are putting on a production, or they are putting on a production. To Wileen Living, that's Kendra. We've had her on our channel just the other day, actually. Do you think most people put on a production, right? Or
Of
is the
course.
love that they have for each other genuine? Is it real? I always say, look, to me, love is temporary. I don't need you to love me. I would rather you respect me. If I lose your respect or you lose my respect, I think the relationship's done. I think you can get past love. Love to me, I ain't gonna say it don't mean shit. It's kind of hollow with me. It doesn't mean the same because you can love me last week, but I fart the wrong way, and now you don't love me this week because of how much bad gas I got. Let's see. God happened to me said some people aren't afraid to post real stuff. The issue is real doesn't sell or generate likes. Absolutely. I don't disagree with that at all, Sean. Do you?
No, not really. Um, it's I tend to not post a lot on social media
Mhm.
just because I don't really want people in my business that much. And I never really get why people do it in the first place. They'll post everything, whatever they're thinking, inspirational quotes, just whatever they're feeling, and they want people to think that, oh, my life's so great, and I have so much information to give you that'll help you on your way. And half the time, I don't even really believe it. I just think people just posting just to get the likes for people to, comment on what they said and be like, oh, thanks, or feeling the same way. But I think we're in that era where people just they feel the need to do that for self-validation. That's just
Mm.
my opinion.
Yeah, and see, I'm almost kind of the exact opposite of that. I am very public with my social media stuff. I tend to share most of the good stuff, and it's rare that I share the bad stuff. But to be honest with you, in about 2 years, I really haven't had a lot of bad stuff that I need to share or that I would like to share. So I think 9 times out of 10, people are on social media and only sharing one portrait of who they are, but you don't see the fights. Now, what's interesting is that the fights and things that can generate money, it can generate likes. I was watching a video back in my hometown coming out of a funeral home in Anniston, Alabama, where these grandmas that were fighting each other, it got 75 million views in like a
Jeez.
week. That's insane to me. All right. But
Mhm.
that's a different story. Anyway, Wileen Living said that respect is more important. Yes. And she agrees. All right. Now, I told y'all I have the documents, and we are going to show those documents here up on the screen, live and in full effect. One of the first people that I know that actually have the documents here. So let's get that up and let's break this down. Okay. So we have displayed on the screen, and I'm going to make this full screen. Give me a second. Not this screen, this screen.
Hmm.
These are the documents filed in the state of Georgia, Fulton County Family Division. So family law. Now, if you take a look, this was filed the 23rd. The news broke about 3 or 4 days ago. And what people don't realize is that court records are public records. You can look this stuff up. Certain people have the power to pay to have things sealed to where it's not public, but you can easily, if you know just how to search for stuff, find this information. And I found it. Okay. And look, this is getting into people's lives, yet this is the average everyday person. I went through a very similar proceeding when I got divorced myself, so I understand the steps of what you have to do. So the petitioner, which is Eva, filed against her current husband, who's the respondent, Michael Todd Sterling Sr. Okay. And this was done through the Randall M. Kessler of Kessler, and I'm not even going to try that word, LLC, basically a law or legal group, who's her counsel, so to speak. So that's her lawyer, right? And there's, there's certain time limits to how long you have to be a resident to be able to file into a court thing. So it's like, hey, this person has been a resident for at least 6 months prior to the date of filing. Your state varies by how long you have to be a resident. So check with your local state, local laws. All right. Let's see. The other thing that I wanted to highlight here is they have 3 kids. Now, I debated on if I wanted to show the kids' names or not, but a quick Google search, you can see what all of their kids' names and ages are. So they have 3 kids together. But the thing that I want to highlight about that is this part. 2 of the kids are by Michael. All right. The oldest kid, Marley, has his last name, but does not have his blood. And what we're going to show later, and I'm trying to see if I can zoom in on this. Here we go. What we're going to show later is that she's filing for child support from him because the kid's father isn't the one that's taking, the financial burden of the oldest kid. So, Sean, just reading off of that, I heard you go, and got to shake your head, man. What are your thoughts on that?
So if I heard you correctly, there's a 4th child, a boy, it was, I believe.
It's 3. The oldest is
3rd.
Marley. That's by Kevin McCall, who she had a prior relationship with, wasn't married. And then Maverick and Michael, who are Michael Sr.'s 2 kids, his blood.
Okay, so the oldest child isn't his. Oldest child has his last name. I'm assuming he has full parental custody since the child has his last name.
They did.
Now they're getting divorced, and she wants to take him for child support on the oldest child that isn't his. Am I keeping up? Am I picking up what you're putting down?
You are picking up what I'm putting down.
And so they're both kind of well off, I would assume. I don't know anything about this couple at all. They're kind of well off as far as financially.
Both of them independently, as far as I know. He's a successful trial attorney. He's a lawyer himself. I don't know how familiar he is with family law because there's different divisions of laws. But yes, she's been successful in her own right. He's been successful in his own right.
So I'm going to go back a little bit to the other video we dropped the other day with the secret word of the day, audacity. The audacity that I don't get how this flies. I mean, I get there's laws and there's legality behind it, but it just doesn't make sense to me how you can take someone to court for a child that isn't their child, and you want to leave the relationship. If you want to leave the relationship and take your child with you, that's fine. Do that. If you're saying you don't want to be with this person anymore, you want to be connected with them anymore, fine, that's great. Sever that tie. But if you still need their money, you still want their financial assistance, then sorry, I'm starting a lot because I'm very upset. I'm very upset. But it's so unfair, and then the court systems will allow this.
Yes. Now, God happened to me put up something that she brings a valid point, but this is what I would argue people not do. So she said, well, as bad as that part sounds, when Michael Sr. adopted the oldest child, because that's what he did. Eva and him went to court to make a petition to Fulton County. I don't have those documents, but I read about it. They went and adopted when Eva and Michael Sr. got together. They must have had a conversation about, Marley taking on the Sterling last name, and they went to the courts, did the petition, made it happen, right? So he agreed to do that.
Right. But I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna do a little Kanye. Sorry. But here's the thing. he agreed to give the child his name and take care of him financially and everything else that goes with it. He didn't apparently we haven't gotten that far into it. I don't know much about this couple at all, but it seems to me he didn't agree on this divorce. He agreed to marry this lady, to stick with her in richer, poorer, and better health and not better health, and all the vows that you take all the time. And she's the one wanting to break the union for whatever reason. I don't know what, but she wants to break the union. If you want to break the union, I feel you don't get the same um, what's the word I'm looking here for? Uh, benefits, the same
Okay.
benefits you do as when you're married, when you are the one saying, I want to leave. Now, if he was saying he wants to leave, then yes, you would get those benefits. But
Mm.
that's not how the court systems work, unfortunately.
So let me restate what I heard you say. You're basically saying that, okay, if I agree to take on your kid to make this
Mhm.
kid our kid, then
Mhm.
that stipulation occurs for as long as you and I are together. If we get divorced and you're the one that walks away from this marriage, that kid reverts back to your kid, and I ain't got nothing to
Yeah.
do with it.
Yes, habeas corpus.
And see, this is what a lot of people need to understand. So he agreed to something. It was probably an emotional decision. Okay. I would almost say, I'm curious. There are men that are willing to, oh man, I hate to say this term, step up. All right. Step up and, be the Russell Wilson in the situation. Right. But when it doesn't work out, now he's on the hook for somebody who, was just in his life for about 4 years.
Mhm.
God happened to me said true, but in the eyes of the law, he is the father. Marley's birth father surrendered his right to be Marley's father in order for Michael Sr. to legally adopt Marley. And this is what I would tell men: don't do it. Do not make that emotional decision to do that. I was gonna say unless you know it's gonna go the distance, but hey, like we read, forever don't mean the same. Apparently, forever mean
Mhm.
right now. All
Right.
right, tomorrow
It's not
might be
eternity.
different. Yes, and before I go too far into it, we don't know what happened. We don't know what caused them to not work out. It could have been infidelity or something bad on his part. It could have been something, interesting on her side. We don't know that stuff yet because that stuff hasn't came out. God happened to me said that it's horrible, not disagreeing at all, but it's the law. And this is why I tell people don't get entangled with the law. Like Sean, I know you want to get married, brother. Hey,
I
let
do.
me salute to you. Whew, man,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it again. I'm not involving the law in anything that I don't have to involve the law when it comes to any relationships ever again. I'm just simply not doing it. Call me bitter, call me hurt, but you can't call me twice divorced like Eva is. I think somebody said that she was married before. I couldn't find any records that prove that. So I don't know if she was twice married, twice divorced, but King was one and done. All right.
I am curious though. What did Kendra mean by we did take on that responsibility?
Oh, she changed it to he. It was one of the points that we were talking about earlier. She meant to say he did take on that responsibility, which he did. It wasn't like she
Mhm.
put anything to his head and said, take me
That we
in.
know of.
Hey, exactly. That we know. But see, here's the thing. What people don't understand is man, you could get in that emotional,
Mhm.
the emotional war ground. It's like, well, in order to take me, you have to do XYZ, and he wants to make things work. So he feels as though he doesn't have a choice. He
Right.
actually does. You can be
Mhm.
like, well, hey, if this ain't gonna work for you, walk. We don't have to
Mm.
do this.
In this particular situation, I would say that her being a woman and doing this, taking advantage, in my eyes, taking advantage of the law, of the written rule of the law in this instance, is unconscionable because
Mm,
she has her own financials. She's not struggling. She probably has her own some sort of job. Like I said, I don't know anything about this couple at all, but you said they're in the limelight of some sort. So she has money. There's absolutely no reason to have him pay child support other than I'm sure that the ladies in the chat room are going to say, well, he married her and he said he was going to give the child his last name.
That
So, so
the interesting part about our live stream today, as far as the people that we have on live right now, is we're giving it from the male perspective, from the guy's perspective, but the commenters have been the ladies. And
Mhm.
I love the fact that we have the ladies coming on and giving their opinion and thoughts as we go through this. So salute to them for being up in here as well. Now,
Right.
parts A, B, C, D, and E right here through F, I want to say, just kind of it's the standard stuff as far as saying that the petitioner shows the court that they're a fit and sound body. The petitioner Eva is requesting to have primary custody of all three kids with final decision-making authority to all issues, and requests that the same be granted to her on a temporary and permanent basis. Now, when I first read that, I said, dang, so she gonna be the one that final and all, but it kind of makes sense. If she is granted primary custody, just because she's petitioning for it doesn't mean that she'll be granted it, right? So the respondent can say, hey, well, due to her work where she's traveling and doing these productions and things all of the time, she's going to have the kid with a nanny for the most part. Whereas, I am a person that works from home as a trial lawyer. I sometimes go on to trial. This is what my schedule looks like. I can better provide for the care of the kids and things like that. He could come back and do that. I'm not saying that he is, but he could. But I actually think that whoever has primary physical custody should legally have final decision making authority as well. And it made me wonder. I didn't have time to see what mine said. I'm curious what mine says, because I mean, to have one person have final that can trump me for our kids, sometimes I'm
Mhm.
like, that could sting if I want something done one way, but because of how the judge granted it or the magistrate granted it, I could get vetoed. What say you, Sean?
Once again, it's the system working in favor of the ladies. It sounds like, it looks like. Um, I'm always going to err on the side of fairness. I don't care which gender it's going to benefit. I'm not going to sit and be like, oh, only men this, only men that, and down with the ladies. No, if a lady is doing the right things, speaking the right things, I'll be on her side. As far as, like I said, as long as it's fair and makes sense. But typically these type of proceedings don't make sense because they just willy-nilly just err on the side of a woman having typically majority custody and her getting the financial support whether she needs it or not.
Okay. The next part 6 and part 7, and this is only like a 6-page document. Part 6 says that the petitioner, so that's Eva, shows that the respondent, so her soon-to-be ex-husband, should contribute to the care and maintenance, including but not limited to medical, dental, hospitalization expenses of the parties and children. So this is the
Hell
key
no.
part of the parties and children. So not
No,
just the kids,
no,
but
no,
to
no,
her
no,
as
no,
well.
no, no.
Oh man. Hey, this is what I would say to this right
I
here.
don't care.
I don't care. I'm gonna take care of the kids, but you, I gotta contribute to. Well, like I said, she has her own net worth.
Yeah,
She,
and she wanted to leave.
and she wanted to leave. Wiley Living said, "Hey, she agreed." She said, "Now that's a reach," and I agree
I
as
think
well.
I think that's typical in most divorce decrees. Well, majority, sorry, not most, majority. That women, well, not sorry, the lawyers tend to ask for. They have this large reach because I mean, all right, it does make sense because I would think I'm not in family court or family law at all, but I would think you ask for the maximum, expecting it to be walked back. You know,
Hmm.
you don't ask for what you actually know is reasonable because that might get walked back. So if that's what their idea was, then to ask for the maximum of everything to get the benefits and knowing it's probably gonna get walked back in court, fine, I understand that.
Okay. There's somebody that said, I got a phone call. What I missed? You missed Sean vehemently disagreeing with the part that Eva is requesting that Michael contributes to the care and maintenance to include but not limited to medical, dental, hospitalization expenses of the parties and children. So not just the kids, but to her as well. Now, you need something on paper that says, okay, this is who's going to be taking care of this is who's going to be taking care of that, and this is how. Like, my divorce said that I was going to be covering the medical and other stuff, because between me and my ex-wife, my kid's mother, we were able to agree without no lawyers, without no mediators, thank goodness, that it just made sense for me to do it, because my healthcare costs, I don't even want to say it publicly. I don't pay a lot for healthcare, but as a military veteran, that's a benefit that I have earned. All right. So it just makes sense for me to cover mine and our kids' medical care because of the cost. Now we work things out on, hey, I'm going to cover this. She's going to cover that. So I think this is a bit standard language for these type of documents, except for of the parties. That part, I'm like, I ain't covering your stuff. I'm gonna cover my kids' stuff. I'm not covering your stuff.
Mhm.
Now, when you're filing, you have to have a reason in most states. So this part 7 right here, this is pretty standard language. Petitioner is entitled to a divorce from the respondent on the grounds that the marriage is irretrievably broken as defined. And I don't know what the OC, but it's probably something circuit, Georgia, whatever, some Georgia state law. And there are no prospects for a reconciliation. Petitioner specifically reserves the right to add additional grounds for divorce as permitted by law. Now, the other document, which I don't have here, there's different reasons that you can list on grounds for a divorce. It's pretty standard stuff. And one of the ones that you kind of don't really need a reason for is irreconcilable differences or something like that. I think that's how it's called. And for that, you don't really need a reason. You could just say, I'm not happy, and walk away from the marriage, right? Back in the day, several decades ago, you would have needed proof of other stuff to be able to file. Now, in most states, I don't know, I can't say this for every state, here in the US, you can just say, I ain't happy no more. I'm on out, and be able to run.
Nothing. I didn't hear anything.
Oh,
But
oh
I
man.
wanted
Go
to
ahead.
point out in the chat room that Wileen Living and also God Happened to Me are both saying nah, just the kids and the two P's. So I think what were the two P's again?
Peace and prenup.
Prenup, right. Now, I'm for a prenup, but the thing I've noticed, it's actually kind of ironic that the women that are well to do and have some money in the bank are the ones that are for prenups. But the ones that don't, they're like, "Don't you love me? Why do we need a prenup if we have love? I'm never going to leave you." But the ones that, like I said, the ones that have the money, like, "Oh, I'm gonna need a prenup on this one, buddy. So I can't do it. It's not going to happen unless we get that prenup in place." I wonder what you say about that.
Ooh, yep, absolutely. Hey, oh, what's love got to do with it? Oh man, I should not be singing. Why is my sound effects not working? Hey, hold on a second. Let me know if you could hear this one. Let's do this. I am messing up the stream right now. I'll work on this later. How about this?
Oh, she listened to me. Oh, okay. All right.
Uh-oh.
Listen.
Oh, so God Happened to Me said that they could hear. Okay. Oops. Good. All right. You
All right.
just
This
can
is just
hear.
me.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to know. I'll work on that later. So let's check into the comments before we go into the rest of the document. God Happened to Me said, God forbid a divorce ever knock on my door. I will say the word of Miss Tina Turner. I just want my name.
That's
Hey,
fair.
She said, I'm a teacher. What money in the bank? Hey, teachers can get bread now. You ain't fooling me. Uh-oh. Kendra said, listen, I've talked a prenup since my Alabama. I've talked about a prenup since my Alabama days. Okay. Hey, all right. Teach other people this while in living. Teach them that. All right. So let's see. Let's bring back up my screen here. Bring up the document and cover the other thing that I want to highlight. The other stuff, and like I said, the rest of this stuff under 8 is pretty standard. The petitioner should be awarded an equitable division of all marital assets, both real and personal, tangible and intangible, between the parties. This is the part that makes me laugh. Tangible stuff are things that you can, reach out and touch, like this cup. Mm-hmm. This is tangible. How do you split up intangible things, Sean? Tell me this.
You have to ask the ladies in the chat room about that. I have no idea.
To me, that part seems petty. All right, intangible. It's like, oh well, I know you really like your Xbox and that's yours, but it was maritable, or marital assets, so I won't have of the cost of that Xbox. What?
I'm a battle axe that, so I can chop it in half.
Why? That part always cracks me up. Intangible. All right. So number 9, the petitioner. Oh, go ahead.
I think all right, the best way to do divorces is to leave with what you came in with, unless there was assets that were gained while you guys were together, while you were married. Then you could split it down the middle, But to take what wasn't yours before you got there and say you want X amount of money afterwards it's kind of crazy, Or I need to be taken care of some because I provided a certain standard of life for X amount of years. No, you want to leave. Take what you came in with. And I think if the laws started reflecting that sense, that there wouldn't be so many divorces happening. Women wouldn't feel so willing to just walk out of their marriages or leave their marriages because they, like I said, they have this parachute, this trampoline. They can jump out of the window and be like, I'll be fine. I'm not gonna break my legs because I got this safety net. So go ahead.
I heard somebody else say that too. It's like it's a lot more easier to ladies leave because most ladies have an understanding that there is a parachute.
They leave with cash and prizes. Literally, cash and prizes. It's like on a game show. Let me show you what you've won.
We have one comment here. How do I put this nicely? If the marriage doesn't work and there are no children involved, I don't want anything from that dissolved marriage. It's like it's all contaminated. But see, here's my thing. There are many stories of guys, and so I'm a guy, so I talk to other guys, of other guys sharing that their significant other said that too. And then 5 years later, when things didn't work out, they didn't make it to that 7-year itch, right? Things didn't work out. Now all of a sudden it's, well, I think that, I should have this, and this. And it's like, well, hey, whoa, hold up. Like, this wasn't earned like through the marital things, or actually I know of a specific story of somebody that had things that were gifted to him before the marriage, right? And then they get married. It was like property and inheritance and things, and that marriage lasted 5 years, and she walked away with half the inheritance that he got like 2 months after they got married. $300,000 after the inheritance tax plus her split of it. He said, man, it didn't even look like anything close to what it would have been had it just been all his. Now, and I thought that was insane.
Yeah, it is.
Wiley Levy said, hold on, wait a minute, cash and prizes. Prove me otherwise. And some ladies, there are pockets of people that are saying that they do have a desire for a prenup. Wiley Living on her own channel said peace in the prenup. That's what she's bringing to the table. Peace in the prenup. All right. And God Happened to Me said the same thing. That God Happened to Me has a desire for a prenup, and I'll put it in writing that I don't want more than what I came in with. I, Sean, I'm not going to speak for you. I'll say this. I think that there is a bit of fair game to something on things that were built together.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's like, I would want to have things written that shows that this was worked on in an equitable amount. Because, like, who was it? You weren't with me shooting in the gym. Whoever was the rapper or whatnot that said that, it's like, if I earned $50 million playing pro sports, right? And I'm the one shooting shots, yet we can get divorced and you can walk away with half of that. Come on now. I don't understand that. I don't get that. But if things were built together, you and I had a meeting of the minds. We are partner. We have a partnership that is written down with us discussing how we're building this brand or building this company up or this thing, from ground floor. And then we have a divorce and we can't make the business thing work out. So one of us decides to buy each other out because not only can the relationship not work, but our business relationship can't work either. I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
I do want to share a quick little side story.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was talking to some coworkers a couple months ago. This was back when the whole Tom Brady and Giselle Bundchen thing happened. And basically, if I'm getting this right, like I said, she wanted a divorce, Tom Brady, because I guess he wasn't there enough for his children. Is that what it was?
That's what word on the street was. Yeah.
Right. Now, at the same time, apparently Giselle Bundchen's, is that whatever her name is, it's called Giselle, whatever, her net worth is worth more than Tom Brady's. Is that also correct?
That's what I heard as well. Correct.
Right. So she's asking for, I guess, alimony and whatever else she can get as far as within the divorce. But here's the thing. So I was talking to my coworkers that were females, and I was like, look, he's not the one asking for the divorce. And I think he did cheat, but that's not why she said she's leaving. She's leaving because he wasn't around as much as he said he was going to be around for. Why should he have to give you money when you have more money than him?
Hey, I think that's exactly what you was talking about, that whole reaching earlier. Because look, a judge doesn't have to grant it. I personally know of a story of somebody that stepped out and asked for alimony, and the judge was like, yeah, no. You're not getting alimony when you were the one that stepped out. Not granted. Denied.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those you just shoot for the moon and see what falls back on Earth and what you could get from that trip up and back down.
Right.
Wilding Living said, if we build something together, it's 50-50. And I'm not disagreeing with that. If you build something together and you have the equity and proof to show it, absolutely. But outside of that, no.
I'm curious if I'm not going to say the male or female, but if one of y'all builds it, but the other one's just there, is the other one who was just there still entitled to that 50-50? I'm asking her.
Yeah, you know what? Ask me that, Sean. Ask me right now. Ask me.
Okay, King. I'm gonna ask you. So, are you the person building or the person that's not building?
I'm the person that's not building.
Okay, so if your wife builds something, let's say she builds Amazon. We'll say she's the new what's his name? Whatever the
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. There we go. She builds Amazon. New Jeff Bezos. Do you think you're entitled to that 50% of Amazon, even though you didn't do anything? You were just there.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Even if my lawyer asks for me to try and push it, I'm saying I don't want that ish. No, it's hers. Right. I didn't do anything.
I respect that. Now, I feel like as whoever the person is who built the business and has the majority of that money, in this example, as far as Amazon, I think at the time Amazon was worth about $30 billion and the wife got $15 billion. I would think that the person would be like, you know what? As you said, I don't want the money, but we did live together for X amount of years. I would like a little bit to live off of. That's fair. Now, what one person needs 15 billion, that's billion with a B.
With a B.
$15 billion for, I'll never understand. Now, I did hear she donated I guess, a large sum of it, and that's great. But I'm pretty sure she probably kept a pretty decent couple billions, But she wasn't working those long nights. She wasn't putting in the effort to build up Amazon from what it was. So why does she deserve half of the of what the company is, or was rather? But
Mm-hmm.
that's discussion for another day, I guess.
Yep. Now, let's see. Let's bring this back up. Part 9, petition shows the court that she should be awarded her separate property and any appreciation thereon. The respondent is likely probably going to agree with that. Petitioner shows the court that marital debt incurred by the party, so that's both of them, the petitioner and the respondent, during the marriage should be equitably divided. I don't disagree with that either. If we incur this together, meaning now here's the thing, meaning we co-signed it. If we co-signed this debt together, then we should have that split together. If you incurred a debt that you made based on a decision without consulting it with me and my name's not on it, that ain't my debt. That's how I look at that.
But you know what? Here's the rub. I'm for number 10. Number 10 sounds great. But what they're asking for is the man to be paying her child support, probably alimony, and whatever else plus plus plus. And then he gets thrown a little bit of a bone to say that whatever debt we have, we're going to split that in half. She's probably using the money he's getting from him to pay off this debt. That's where does the man actually? It's just isn't fair, is what I'm getting at. So if things need to be fair, it needs to be like, all right, we're both going to get half the debt, and I'm not going to pay you for whatever it may be as far as alimony for X amount of years. Fine, maybe you need to pay child support for your children. Yes, the one that isn't his, that's something that's debatable. But she shouldn't be able to take the money he's paying her to pay off half of the debt.
There's a comment here that says that for that, not saying that I agree or disagree, but giving 50% might be because one worked in caring for their home while the other worked. I mean, I don't like this. I don't like
in the
that.
Jeff Bezos situation, do you think the wife was cleaning the house? No. They had hired help.
Yeah. 12, 13, and 14 are what's interesting to me. So, according to Georgia law, OGCA, whatever this statute is, all right, pending the final determination by the court of the right of either party to alimony, neither party shall make any substantial change in the assets of the party's estate, except in the course of ordinary business affairs and except for bona fide transfers for value. Now, this is pretty standard as well, and it kind of makes sense because basically saying, look, don't be out here changing stuff that's going to change what the numbers look like because we getting this divorce. And that makes sense. But check out 13 and 14, all right? 13 basically says that Eva is insistent that Michael comply with the foregoing statutes in all respects. Basically saying don't go against the law, all right? But 14, and it says right here, respondent is put on notice of not only the law of the state of Georgia, this is the law, but also on notice of Eva's intent to insist on full and absolute compliance of it. Meaning, here's what the law is. This is what I'm going to attempt to come after. Like I said, the judge still has to grant. He has the right to respond and things like that. They can disagree on some things, and this could, go on for as long as both sides want to be petty. But right here, 14. Oh man. Petitioner Eva has incurred expenses of litigation, including attorney's fees and costs, and she asked that Michael be ordered to pay these expenses on a temporary and permanent basis. Damn! She got her own money. He has his money. She filed through her lawyer, her representation, and she wants him to pay for it all.
That also, too, I think is typically standard, I think, but it's still ludicrous.
So while it can be standard, you don't have to include it in here. So that's the thing. Like this isn't there's a template or a format kind of the way that things should be drawn up so that the lawyer is reading it, but you can strike this out. You can have to where this isn't included in your it's called a complaint. Like I want to say the legal term is when you file the complaint. When you file a complaint with the court, with the clerk, that's what this document is. This is a CV. Let me scroll back up here. CV 377867. So this is the form, all right? And it's saying it's a civil action in the family court. You don't have to have this in here, okay? So while it can be standard language, when your legal representation or yourself, if you're the one that's doing it, is following this, you can have this, put out. Like, look, I got money, I'll take care of my own expenses. I think this is, to me, this is an insult. This is a slap in the face for anybody that has the money to do it and chooses to have this in there.
And this is part of the reason why men are starting to say, why should I get married? Because they see now what goes into divorce and how, for lack of better terms, how they get screwed, because a woman can just come in and say, you know what, I want all of this. And unless the judge says, we need to take back some of that, take back some of this, and take back some of that, and you can keep the rest, But then the man's left with nothing. I won't say nothing, but like he's kind of worse for wear, and it's not fair.
Yep. Now here, wherefore petitioner prays, and I thought this was interesting. I didn't, because there's no religion in the courts, right? So typically, when people get married and have their vows,
except when they swear you in.
Hey, true. I think that judges and things, when you do the thing, you say, "So help me God." I don't know if they still do that.
I don't know. I think maybe. I'm not sure. It depends on the court, maybe.
Yeah, I think that some courts change the language because some people walking in like, "Hey, I don't really, rock with the OG like that."
Right.
But this part here, A, B, and C, basically says, these are the terms that I'm requesting be granted. I want things to be considered equitable and just, yada yada. And then this is the lawyer that signed it. This is his bar number and everything like that. And who is representing her. And I think that's the last page. Yep. And then you get the clerk that comes in here, stamps it, seals it, all of that jazz. So for the people that have never been to family court or have never seen those documents, that's what the initial one looks like. Now, there are other documents when your court date gets set. And I think I saw a date in there actually already when I went to go and pull these documents from the Fulton County records. That was in June. So I think that they already have the initial date set when the respondent, so her soon-to-be ex-husband, sees what she's requesting and things like that. There are, you want to get as specific as possible. When me and my kid's mom did ours, like I said, we were sitting side by side. So we used a standard template, so to speak, and wrote in what applied for us and crossed out things that didn't, right? And we sat down and we did that, but we didn't use any lawyers. That could have taken forever. And I'm glad that we were able to work it out without using lawyers, because I can't imagine the type of headache that can be when you're having to add other people into, getting your stuff and the cost. I mean, I'm thinking, I want to say when I was curious about how much a lawyer would cost, and I'm glad that we didn't go there. I think like just the retainer was $3,500, just the retainer, right? And I'm just like, ugh. And that was just for like if it would have been just for me. So now you talking essentially double if you're paying for your representation and the other person's representation as well. Insane.
So you basically lose twice.
Dude, now there's one thing that I want to present, and then we are going to close out the show. So I'm going to share my screen here, and this specific tab, this one is titled this one here. All right. So according to online site Jasmine Brandon. I need to make this bigger. That's what she said.
Crazy.
Michael is not ready to call the quits. And in a statement to the website, which I couldn't verify myself, he's wanting to fight. He has said that I am not going to lose my wife. I am going to fight for her with every fiber of my being. I love her and I plan to show her how much I love her and that our love is strong enough to get to the other side. And as of this publication, which was as of Wednesday, and I didn't see anything else, there wasn't a response by her, which her lawyer's probably telling her, hey, don't respond to nothing. You don't want to mess up how much we about to drain out this fool.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna
But
take a guess.
yep,
That
go ahead.
that he probably did do some cheating, probably got caught somehow, some way. And in that case, then yeah, she should get what she's asking for. See, I'm fair. But if it was if it was of no fault of his own and she just wants to leave, then no. And also, he shouldn't. If no fault of his own and he's trying to keep her, my advice: let her go, let her walk. There's no
Yep.
reason to chase for someone who says they want to leave. They want to break the union of marriage. If you didn't do anything wrong, don't chase after them.
Exactly. And see, now look, I'm not a lawyer, all right? So don't take legal advice from this light-skinned bald head dude on YouTube. But when you file, right, she wrote the thing of irreconcilable differences, or the one line that is said right there in that complaint that was filed. Like I said, I saw the other document that lists the reasons, and she didn't list infidelity. So if it was cheating, okay,
Mhm.
and she didn't list that, then he can, come out and say, hey, look, I didn't, because that ain't what she filed for, So
Mhm.
as of right now, we can just go off of the narrative that something changed. She wasn't
Yeah.
happy and she wanted to get out.
Yeah.
That's
You
where we can
shouldn't.
go right now, because it's a completely different narrative. It's a completely different story if she lists that. And maybe she's like, I'm not trying to hurt him too bad and his clients,
Mhm.
because if he's known for that or whatnot, that could hurt his business and essentially hurt her bottom line. Maybe she did think about that.
Hurt her cash flow.
But just like Wileen Living said, I'm starting to think that he cheated. To me, that's the top reason. If you ask me, I think he stepped out on her. She found out, and even don't look like the type that would sit and wait and be like, "We can work this out." Nah.
Mm.
Mm-mm. And also, too, she lives a very public life, and her track record doesn't really show that either. And what they came out and said when things were announced, our children remain our biggest priority, and the 8.5 years we spent together will always be cherished. She said, we ask that you respect our privacy at this time. So yeah, she's seeking, like we had went over, care and care and maintenance and marital costs, plus equitable division of assets and things that they occurred during their marriage. And she also said, hey, look, what I have that's already my property, that's going to stay my property. So maybe he has the opportunity to respond and stuff as well. So Sean, like, let me just ask you, I've seen this stuff as I've been through the family court system before. So I'm not going to call myself an expert, but I was 34 years old when I saw the first inside of a family courtroom. And man, let me tell you, my eyes were open to the process, because as mine was, like I said, it was fair, it was non-contentious. So we didn't use a lawyer or mediator. There were other people in there. So it's not just you when you go in. There could be other people on the same docket, I think is what it's called. And then
Yeah.
me and Cassie were the only ones that didn't have lawyers or mediators present. And man, you could feel the contention between the other people that were in there. And folks were, I almost hate to say this, but it's true. Folks were smiling at ours because we were like, hey, look, we got this split up ourselves. We don't have no lawyers or mediators. It was wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, to where the magistrate, it wasn't a judge, it was a magistrate, said, well, this is one of the easiest ones that I might have all day. So the point of doing this was to kind of highlight what the document showed, to dispel some myths. I also wanted to highlight that people say the words forever, and this was one of the other things that I wanted to talk about here. When you take a look at vows, typical wedding vows, now depending on what your religious background is, right, whether you're Presbyterian, Protestant, what's read is going to depend on your faith, Catholic, all of that jazz. Or even if you're not religious, you typically have some type of vows unless you do your own vows. But the standard stuff is what I'm going to show here on the screen, right? People will say, I state your name, take you, state this person's name, to be my wedded husband or wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or worse, richer or poor, sickness and health, to cherish and love, till death do us part. All right. Or as long as we both shall live. Those are the ones that you typically hear when you go to a wedding and things that people recite. All right. I said those vows. Obviously, I'm divorced and I didn't live up to it myself. Now,
for shame.
Shame. Sean, forever, man. Forever, ever.
To infinity and beyond.
And beyond. Our marriage is doomed. Our marriage is just doomed. Do you think that there's going to be more of a decline of this and more of an increase of people saying, yep, I ain't doing it? Because what's the point?
There's going to be an increase. There already is an increase of men saying, why should I get married? If, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, if women can walk away with cash and prizes, they can just say, oh, I don't have the spark anymore. The butterflies are gone, or I want to pursue this and he doesn't, or I want to move here and he doesn't. So we have irreconcilable differences. But I still want half of your stuff. I want you to pay me for X amount of years. If we have children, I want you to pay for them, and I'll still have most of the custody and most of the rights to make decisions on their behalf. But I'm gonna need to keep on milking you for a while. So if you're okay with that or not okay with that, it's still gonna happen. So why would it? I'm not even gonna say a man. Why would anyone want to sign up for that? I mean, as you stated, I do still want to get married. I do
I
want to
was
have
just
kids.
going to ask you.
I know. But I'm hoping to find someone that still believes in the traditional values of marriage and like the whole till death do you part, or till one of us, kicks the bucket. Because I'm gonna fight tooth and nail if she wants to get a divorce, on that divorce. And I'm saying this right now on camera. I said this before, but I'm saying on camera, I will have full custody of my kids. Because I'm not paying you child support. It's not gonna happen. So that's what it's gonna be.
He said, let it be known. All right.
Yeah, I can work 10 hours a day and still take care of the kids and make it work. Just so I ain't gotta pay you. So.
Wow. All right. Well, hey man, we are done with the live stream. That was a bad transition. Let's start that over. So, Sean, we are coming up at the end of the live stream today. I'd like to give a thanks to the viewers that are out there who commented specifically while in living and God happened to me. I saw a Callenton Duff in the building. Salute to her as well. To the viewers that are going to catch this on the replay, y'all let me know. Let us know. Give us your thoughts on the public displays that people give only to then respect our privacy when it don't work out. To me, that never jives with how people want to publicly show something and then privately split and move on to the next sucker. All right. But look, TDG showed the documents. All right. We showed what was actually filed, not just speculated on what was being put out there. So for that, leave us a like, All right, that's all we ask for. Stay tuned to our channel. If you are not a subscriber, subscribe. Okay, and be on the lookout for other fantastic The Dating Game comments. Sean, close us out, my man. Leave us with some good words of wisdom. All right, hold on. Before you do,
it's that time again.
So remember the Alamo?
To do another one of our cute little skits?
No, it's time to learn the day's lesson. And to find out what it is, we turn to the Wheel of Morality. Wheel of Morality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn. Moral number 3. And the moral of today's story is...
Get a prenup. But also, let me know how my eye tracking software is working. What was that? No, there you go.
Oh, that's insane, man.
Is that creepy?
That's weird. That is weird, but I like it because I'm looking over here. I'd rather be engaged with the audience to show that engagement. But yeah, let us know if you think that eye tracking software is weird or not. But Sean said, get a prenup. Get a prenup. Are you getting a prenup, Sean?
Yes.
But Sean.
Nope.
Well,
we can stop.
I love you, Sean.
We're gonna have Love in a Prenup. New show on Netflix, Love in a Prenup. Stay tuned. Netflix.
All right, my man. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, you can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I ain't had no chill. I'm who I are, I'm who I is. Taylor Susan, I play the part. Fuck the fire, how you mesmerize. Black Austin pies, man, that I'm stupid. Then again, oh so clever. On my loony, pour that lever. Talk my shit, I'm talking hella flow, baby. You